How's it going, home slices? Today's a most momentous occasion, as today we're gawking a quick gander at the first ever Movieverse figure of the channel. Or Movieverses now, right? Whatever, you know what I mean. Let's sneak a seek at this sinister seeker with Studio Series 72 Starscream. This guy actually caught me totally off guard, cause we haven't really gotten any Cybertron-y Studio Series figures yet. And I just assumed they'd just call it a day with Cliffjumper and the mandatory Bumblebee yellow version. But not today, lads. Now, as I'm sure you've guessed, this lavish lad is based on Screamer's appearance in the Cybertron prologue of the Bumblebee movie, which, if you don't recall, had seekers aplenty throughout those 2 minutes of pure bliss. So I reckon this won't be the last time we see this mold.
What if it was purple?
Which is actually fine with me, cause if you can't tell, this toy is just so good. Starscream always gets such good and interesting toys, it's quite easy to see how the general Seeker design keeps enduring throughout the franchise. Also, I have to admit, this is actually the 4th Starscream I got this year, and it's only April. I guess I brought this on myself. Now I guess they can form their own quartet.
Starscream and the Starscreams, we're gonna make you smile. Me, myself, and I and him are all the same guy.
The first thing I feel inclined to bring up here is the sculpting. It's just out of this world, pun intended. It's all over the place and shows absolutely no sign of slacking off. There's like a whole factory going on inside his forearms, as well as those iconic Seeker sticky-uppy things behind his shoulders. Really gets the imagination going. Also, full credit to the head here. Something you can always count on the Studio Series figures to deliver is fantastic head sculpts, and this is no different. This is the sickest scowl I've ever laid eyes on, second only to the after-church crowd at my old retail job. And I can't believe how much this figure treats itself with the parts count. I don't know what the maximum amount of separate parts they allow a Voyager to have, but I bet this is it. He's got these hip pistons that serve no purpose outside of accuracy, and are able to conveniently tuck away when it's time to go jet. And his wing pieces even fold down in the transformation basically just for design accuracy. Talk about luxurious. The proportions also look great too. The limbs are so long and imposing, and I love his exaggeratingly angled wings there, giving him the same aura of a creepy tree. Also can't help but like how from the knees down, the legs get wider until they reach the feet, kinda like a G1 Dinobot. It might not be the same as the incredibly thick, licious thighs seen on some of the other Decepticons in the movie, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the next best thing. I super appreciate how cleanly this figure looks from the back too. Maybe it's because I'm used to Voyager class Seekers having to deal with a big old jet nose cone like a wizard's hoodie, so this pretty kibble-free surface is rather refreshing. And as should be no surprise by this point, the articulation is basically all you can ask for, and because of the effortless inherent awesome sauce energy of this figure, you really only need to move him around a bit to make him look dynamic. The colors are also well distributed and distinct, really letting you know that between Blitzwing and this is Starscream. As for the accessories, the figure comes with these 2 null ray looking things which distractingly don't go on his arms. What do you mean this is doing something different? But instead goes on his wings. He also includes this behemoth of a blaster which color-wise blends into the arm pretty seamlessly. But check it out, I was so certain this was the same accessory that came with Studio Series Blitzwing, just in a different color, but it isn't. That's something else I wanted to bring up. Many suspected this figure to be a retool of Blitzwing, but I can't find a single shared part between these two. Add the fact that the transformations are wildly different, and yeah, this just is a completely different figure. The aesthetic influence for what pre-Earth Transformers look like is clearly different than what it was back in 2007 with Movie 1 Mega Man. And it's actually quite a trip seeing a live-action Starscream look like this after 14 years of being used to seeing him like this. Not that I don't like Bayverse Starscream's Dorito-shaped energy, I've come to love it for what it is. The new figure just brings in a bit of feelings of what if and getting me excited for what the future might hold. I think my only issue with the figure is how easily the null rays pop off the wings in robot mode. It's like they're not necessarily pegged in as much as they are holding onto the holes because of gravity and nothing else. But if that's the only criticism of the robot I can muster, then this guy's really sitting pretty. It poses wonderfully, looks fantastic, and it'll make you scream till you're green. The transformation is just wild. It's probably the most unusual and unique Seeker transformation we've ever had on an official Starscream, and it's weirdly reliant on the legs. How often you see that? And as to be expected, the alt mode is jamming right down in Cybertron Town. I feel like with Cybertronian alt modes, it's harder to place exactly how I feel about them due to the nature of it intentionally looking like something not of this earth. But for what it is and what we know it to be, I gotta say, it really works for me. Taking a look at the concept art, this is pretty true to what it's supposed to look like. That is, something we never quite get a good look of in the movie. So to my eye it works. I'd believe it. This really looks like a true alien fighting jet. This is an otherworldly space glider whose first priority is to fire at fools on the ground, thus warranting this conspicuous underside meant to resemble a bottom fin. It's like this thing's got an entire resistance bomber hiding underneath. It might be a bit thicker than strictly necessary, but hey, all that stuff's gotta go somewhere, right? And it actually looks pretty fine in person, so, quit whining. I'm just taken away by the overall fantastical look of this thing with its yellow cockpit, which no one sits in because it drives himself, and those massive upwards-facing thrusters. The sculpt work strikes once again in this mode, really wanting to charm you with its fancy and otherworldly ways, and consider me charmed. It's definitely a departure from most of your other Studio Series guys, with their nifty, highly accurate, officially licensed alt mode. Then here comes this hulking pile of alien jet. But that's why you have to love this thing. There aren't really any other Transformers that look like this or transform similarly either. He's his own man, and I'm quite proud of him. After all is said and done, it's impossible for me to not love this thing. It's a great new Starscream figure showing off an intriguing blend of G1 influence and real-world photorealism, and all together makes something truly special. It screams for the stars. So this is Rogue Winners signing off, and I'm sure that as great as this figure is, your day will be even better. Goodbye, Butterfly.
Starscream and the Starscreams, we're gonna make you smile. Me, myself, and I and him are all the same guy. Starscream and the Starscreams, come on now, don't be shy. Me, myself, and I and him are all the same guy.